Hello and welcome to Benue Television News at 9. I am Jafet Kwahom. Let's take a look at the headlines. Governor Alia vows to return to church as a priest. President Tinubu re-elected as ECOWAS chairman. Record-breaking heat wave threatens 130 million people in U.S. Let's take a look at the news in detail. The Benue State Governor, Reverend Father Hyacinth Alia, has vowed to return to the church as a priest after his sojourn in politics. Governor Alia made this known Sunday in Korunya, Kanshisha local government area on the occasion of his 34th priestly anniversary. The governor described priesthood as a difficult vocation that has given him and his classmates different experiences, expressing gratitude to God for strengthening them in their weaknesses for the past 34 years of spreading the gospel. He again encourages the people to form farm cooperatives to access agricultural incentives from his government to improve their livelihoods. The governor and other friends of the church supported building of a befitting place of worship. The governor of Benue State, Reverend Father Hyacinth Alia, has charged leaders of the associations in the state to unite their members for development of the state. The governor's charge was contained in his address Saturday to the newly inaugurated officials of Kunav United Development Association, KUDA, at Vandikia Township Stadium. Correspondent Emmanuel Akula reports that Governor Alia used the occasion to again call on Benue people to give attention to agriculture as his administration is working towards attracting food processing industries to the state. Let's go on a break very quickly. Benue State Governor, Reverend Father Hyacinth Alia, has vowed to return to the church as a priest after his sojourn in politics. Governor Alia made this known at St. Joseph's Parish, Konya, in Kanshisha local government area on the occasion of his 34th priestly anniversary. Correspondent Emmanuel Akula reports that the celebration, according to the governor and his classmates, was a moment of deep reflection and immense gratitude to God, recognizing the enduring commitment and service to humanity they have all dedicated to their communities over the past 3 decades. And now the report.
34 years ago, the governor of Benue State, Reverend Father Hyacinth Alia, was ordained a Catholic priest beside his classmates. These years of priestly ministry for them have been a journey of faith, resilience, and steadfast devotion, marked by countless acts of kindness, compassion, and sacrifice. The governor, however, describes priesthood as a difficult vocation that has given him and his classmates different experiences about life. He expresses gratitude to God for strengthening them in their weaknesses in the past 34 years of spreading the gospel.
In these last 34 years, we all have series of stories to tell. We know one thing in all our class, that the will of God cannot take you where the grace of God cannot sustain you. So though weak we are, I'm quite pleased with the second reading. His grace is sufficient in our weaknesses, and that makes the 34 years.
Father Aliahu states that his administration is committed to addressing poverty and hunger in the land, encourages the people to embrace agriculture to better their lives. As a way of encouraging creativity and talent, the governor awards a full secondary education scholarship, including uniforms and books, to 2 students of St. Joseph's Secondary School, Hosanayo So and Doris Tehemin, for composing and singing songs in Tiv language with moral lessons. He calls on the Benue State House of Assembly and the Tiv Area Traditional Council to re-examine burial ceremonies in the land, with the aim of addressing the excessive spending of financial resources by families at such times, and also calls for cluster settlements among the people.
The priesthood is a road less traveled. There's so many people who seek to be on the trip, but just a few called, specifically chosen and anointed, at the end of the day become the priests by the order of Melchizedek.
In a homily, Reverend Father Fidelis Fele advises the congregation to always look up to God, who has solutions to all human problems, calling on the Christian community in Benue State to sustain prayers for the administration of Governor Alia to enable it succeed.
Each of the readings for today's liturgy challenges the human propensity for labeling and limiting people. The readings invite us to begin to look at God, to begin to look at the world, and to begin to look at one another with more open eyes and more receptive hearts.
Meanwhile, the parish priest of St. Joseph's Parish, Konya, and a classmate of the governor, Father Emmanuel Doki, is thankful to Governor Alia for the struggle by his administration to foster peace in the state amid the good works he is doing for the people of Benue State. Other classmates of the governor are the Mars, Reverend Fathers Silvester Omoke, Bernard Asogo, Marcelinus Yesi, Francis Agban, Bishop Thomas Tav of Methodist Church, and several others, supported building of a befitting place of worship at St. Joseph's Parish, Konya. Emmanuel Akula, Benue Television News, Makudi.
Governor Hyacinth Alia has pledged the support of his administration to the girl-child education in Benue State. The governor made a pledge at the Federal Government Girls College, Boko, when he visited the school. Details in the report.
Governor Hyacinth Alia, who is on his way to Vandeka, stops at the Federal Government Girls College, Boko, as a parent to pay a visit to the students on their visiting day. Addressing over 1,600 students of the federal school, Governor Alia encourages them as future leaders to give priority to their education, not only to make their parents proud, but the best gift they can give to themselves. He expresses satisfaction with the relationship between the management staff and students, which he says will inspire the students to take up leadership positions, pledging assistance to the school to cushion the study life of the students.
The best gift you can give to yourselves, my dear daughters, is the gift of education. I want you to please give your very best into your study life. It puts you on the best of pedestal tomorrow.
Principal of Federal Government Girls College Boko, Mrs. Idio Maslim, who describes the governor's visit as historic in the life of the school, praises his support for the education of the girl child, which he says has given many children the opportunity to excel in life.
He is a frontline advocate of girl child education, and he has a word for all of us today.
A student, Antonia Chukuma, on behalf of the student, is grateful to the governor for supporting their education, promising to take their studies seriously in order not to let their sponsors down.
I sincerely thank the governor for everything he has done for us. And I pray and ask that God, with his infinite mercy, will continue to guide and protect him.
The governor, during the visit, aside provisions for the students, pronounces donation of 50 bags of 50 kg rice and 8 cows for their feeding. Emmanuel Akula, Benotal Vision News, Makuti.
Also, the governor of Benue State, Reverend Father Hyacinth Alia, has charged leaders of associations in the state to unite for development of the state. The governor's charge was contained in his address to the newly inaugurated officials of Kunav United Development Association, KUDA, at Vandika Township Stadium. Correspondent Emmanuel Akula reports that Governor Alia used the occasion to again call on Benue people to give attention to agriculture as his administration is working towards attracting food processing industries to the state. Now the report.
It is the inauguration of the new ESCO members of Kunav United Development Association. Governor Hyacinth Alia is a member of this association. The governor says he is delighted with the coming on board of the new leadership of KUDA nationwide, hoping that the ESCO will play their part in helping him secure and develop the state. He tags the new ESCO on the unity of Kunav Nation, charging them to ensure the revival of Vandika Township Stadium and building of a secretariat for the association as their first assignment as an ESCO.
Yurumba degree with Heme, Kusule, Shamlu cooperatives, Masule, Zua Yenge Rio Pukaritia, Zuanene Nya Ienuma, Wakajepa Ienora, government was say, sit Tondozua, Chisive Nyarikwe.
President General of Kunav United Development Association, Mr. Emmanuel Yaji, assures the governor and Kunav people that the new ESCO will uphold mandate of the 48-years-old association for the interest of Kunav Nation. This, the President General assures, will be achieved while supporting and defending the administration of their son to succeed.
If we are pushed a little bit by our brother, our governor, you will see a different Kunav during this time.
Head of the traditional institution in the area, Take Kunav, His Royal Highness Chief Inyonga Chiaku, gives members of the new ESCO royal blessings, while Justice Bambaki administers oath of office on the new leaders. Emmanuel Akula, Benotal Vision News, Makudi.
In a deliberate move to boost the economy of Benue State, Governor Hyacinth Alia has commissioned an ultra-modern market in Vandika local government area of the state. The governor performed the ceremony in Vandika in company of the caretaker chairman of the local government, top government officials and other leaders. According to him, the move is necessary as his government is willing to support small and medium-scale businesses in the state towards improving the state's economy and livelihoods of the people. Let's join Emmanuel Akula once again for the details of this report.
Since assumption of office over a year ago, Governor Hyacinth Alia's administration has continued to take deliberate steps in affecting lives positively. The governor again emphasizes the need for the people to embrace small-scale businesses and dry season farming to improve on their livelihoods. He is here as part of his administration's drive for a better economy to commission Our Lady of Perpetual Help ultra-modern market, Vandika. This market the governor sees as a catalyst to boost the economic status of the people. He promises provision of facilities at the market, expressing hope that opening of the market will boost economic activities, not only in the area but the entire state. The governor wants saboteurs to stay away from the market, directing that those who have encroached on the land belonging to the market to immediately vacate the portions.
Kose mlunya ubenwe mlunya ujechela mlunya ushahe kwato kuna.
Caretaker chairman of Vandika local government area, Dennis Guda, who informs that the market will be holding daily, solicits the governor's intervention to give the market a facelift. Leaders of Igbo, Hausa and Yoruba communities, as well as commercial institutions, request the governor to develop the market as his main legacy in Vandika. They conclude that the market is big enough and has the potential of increasing the revenue base of the state, aside helping in decongesting other markets in the state.
Your Excellency, I want to tell you that with you, let this market be your main legacy in Vandika local government. I want you to go away to this market, and I want to assure you that if you tie all these markets, provide all these facilities they are talking here, I want to tell you this market will generate a revenue in Benue State that no other market in Benue State will generate.
Vicar General of Boko Diocese, Father Linus Huabo, Tekuna of His Royal Highness Ngiyongo Achiaku, and leadership of Khan in Vandika local government, pray God to bless the market to benefit the people. Emmanuel Akula, Benotel Vision News, Makudi.
Now, away from the governor, the Commissioner for Information, Culture and Tourism, Matthew Abo, has charged Benue State House of Assembly media crew to continue with good reportage so as to encourage the state government in its developmental strides. Mr. Abo gave the charge during a dinner night with Assembly correspondents organized by the House Standing Committee Chairman on Information and Orientation, Elias Audu in Makwidi. Correspondent Fidelia Zashound was there and now completes the report.
The dinner night, which was organized by the Chairman House Standing Committee on Information and Orientation, Elias Audu, has Speaker of the House, Aundena Daju, represented by Chief Whip Bemdo Ipusu, leaders of Benue Television and Radio Benue, other legislative members and all Assembly member crew in attendance. Commissioner for Information, Culture and Tourism, Mr. Matthew Abo, noted the importance of media in the development of any society. He commended the media crew for effective coverage of Assembly affairs, charging them not to relent.
You have been reporting activities of the Assembly without mincing words, without leaving out anything. I have been hearing on radio, television, and in other radio televisions too. And so I want to join him in appreciating you for doing a good job for the state. Information is the only way to promote the activities of the present government. All of us here are working for the government headed by Reverend Father Dr. Hyacinth Yomimalia. And all of us have a positive mind to make sure that he succeeds. And so your role is very key in this administration because people outside there are listening to you, are waiting to hear from you.
Chairman House Standing Committee on Information and Orientation, Elias Audu, described the dinner as a get-together to say thank you to the correspondents.
You have been able to work very well. I want to appreciate you. I also want to call on you to join hands with this committee so that we will be able to support the Speaker of the 10th Benue State House of Assembly.
Director General Benue Television Corporation, Dr. Patience Achakbaikyo, and her counterpart from Radio Benue commended the initiative by Elias, saying, "It's quite encouraging to be noticed for a job well done, assuring of more commitment to legislative reportage."
I'm also aware of what you are doing for the Assembly. So I am happy meeting with you, and I also wish to encourage you to continue with what you are doing the same way the chairman is appreciating. I would like to appreciate the chairman and the whole of the assembly for this, because this has never happened before. As far as I know, they have never recognized that we reported for them. They have never recognized that we have done anything. We have even contributed to the success of any assembly or any functions they've done for the good of the state. But this is just 1 year. And the assembly coming up with something like this to say we appreciate you, we recognize you, is something very big.
That you have identified with our colleagues, you've identified with us. And so information will flow seemingly. And we promise that we will all stay behind you to support you.
About 8 media organizations that cover legislative matters were present at the event. Fidelia Zashaondu, Benue Television News, Makurdi.
I'll see you watching Benue Television News. Let's proceed on the break very quickly. We'll be right back. Welcome back, and let's continue with more stories on the news. Civil engineers under the Ministry of Works, Housing and Urban Development have received a charge to apply a state-of-the-art technology in construction of government projects. The engineers received the charge as part of a one-week capacity development training for civil engineers, which began on Monday, 8 July 2024 to end Saturday, July 13th. At the Benue Metropolitan Hotels, Makurdi. Correspondent Frank Alanshima now reports.
Represented by the covering permanent secretary, Mrs. Anaso Chia, the Commissioner of Works, Housing and Urban Development, Imoji Metiza, during the opening ceremony, emphasizes the need to update the profession through ICT training, as it would go a long way to curb a lot of construction mistakes in the society. On her part, Mrs. Ochia attributes the successes recorded in the ministry to the foresight of earlier administration and commitment on the part of the ministry's commissioner, as exemplified in the training put together for key staff to move the state forward.
The civil engineers in the ministry, they are very hardworking, and we have to keep up updating them. If you are not updating them, they may lack something behind. You know, in the school, we study this thing, but at times when you are out of the school, you forget some of the things. And most of the times when you are young in school, you don't take serious for other things. I know that you are the most, let me put it, most hard-working section or department in that Ministry of Works.
Addressing the gathering, the collaborating executives of Makurdi Business School MBS, Engineer Felix Atume, and AD team, Augustine Edachi, charged the trainees to work assiduously to improve on the knowledge of the contractors, to showcase their knowledge and talents both in the office and field.
We strongly believe that you can have resources available to you, but if they are not properly managed, you cannot get value for money. And that begins with your own engineers or manpower. If you are well-trained manpower, certainly the projects will be executed properly. Government will have value for money from the projects.
Director, Civil Engineering Department of the Ministry, Engineer Wombo, stresses the importance of the training, calling on all the engineers to be on their toes to deliver on the packages from the knowledge gained. He says Governor Alia's administration promises improved standard of living for Benue people, which the participants are expected to actively contribute towards this goal.
I'm particularly happy I went through this program. It was manual when you are asked to line diagram, SE, and you manage to close at the end of when the project is like 30 days. It will take you long time to close. And I'm seeing programs that will take 5 minutes and then give you what you want. I think worthwhile.
In an interview with some of the trainees, engineers Akondi Olusegun and Doshimambapong call it a welcome development which will go a long way to yield positive change in the state and committed to ensuring the change.
Very impressive. In fact, that is what we have been longing to do, to experience. They are showing us how we can maximize our potential and then how we can less stress in our profession.
Amazing. I think I'm one of the longest serving engineers in the directorate, and this is about the second time this kind of thing is happening, and it's a welcome development because we are changing from manual to digital. So it's very impressive and very recommendable.
The training will cover efficiency and correct projection on highway design, construction and maintenance alongside engineering ICT skills. Franca Lanshima, Benue Television News, Makode.
Many thanks to Franca Lanshima for that report. And now, Director General of Benue Television Corporation, Dr. Patience Achakwaiko, has distributed confirmation letters to the staff of the station. The move followed Benue State Governor Reverend Father Hyacinth Alia's directive that all ministries and parastatals provide confirmation letters to staff of the state who were employed from 2 years ago. Dr. Achakwaiko, while presenting the letters to the staff Monday at the office premises, expressed satisfaction with the implementation of the governor's directive, describing the move as significant milestone. She said the station was committed to upholding the civil service rules and ensuring that employees received the recognition and benefits they deserved. While expressing appreciation to the governor for the gesture, Dr. Achakwaiko charged staff to ensure that this development translated into positive impact on the overall productivity of Benue Television Corporation and other state agencies. A report has it that by confirming the employment of staff who have served for over 2 years, the state aims to boost morale and commitment among its workforce and hopes to align its actions with the civil service rule, ensuring that the rights and benefits of the employees are fully recognized. A court of appeal sitting in Port Harcourt on Monday dismissed 2 appeals instituted by the sacked local government chairman perceived to be loyal to the Minister of Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike. The appeals were filed by the former chairman of Opobo Nkoro local government area, Enyada Okoki Giam, and 6 others, challenging the decisions of the High Court regarding the elongation of their tenure. While delivering its ruling, the court ruled that the appeals lacked merit and consequently struck them out. The judgment comes weeks after Governor Similaye Fubara swore in caretaker committee chairman for the 23 local government areas of the government House in Port Harcourt, the state capital. The governor, who on June 19th inaugurated the new caretaker chairman hours after the House of Assembly led by factional Speaker Victor Jumbo, screened and confirmed the nominees. The nomination came amid a renewed political crisis in the state, as former council chairmen have refused to vacate their offices after their tenure expired. While addressing the new council's bosses, Fubara urged them to promote peace at all times, stating that they could work from anywhere for the time being. The Lagos State government has issued a 48-hour eviction notice to property owners who have built illegal structures along the Gbagada-Bariga channel. And this was disclosed by the Lagos State Commissioner of Environment and Water Resources, Mr. Tokumbo Wahab, on his verified X page. The statement further says structures like shanties erected along the length of the channel, which obstructed the free flow of water in the area, will also be removed. As part of efforts to tackle the flood challenges, the operatives of the Lagos State Ministry of the Environment and Water Resources will commence removal of those structures in order to deflood the area after the expiration of the notice. Recall that last week, business and commercial activities were disrupted on Wednesday following a 10th-hour downpour in many parts of Lagos, which caused the collapse of a two-story building in the Mushin area, grounded vehicular movement on the roads, overwhelmed thousands of residents, and prevented pupils from attending schools in parts of the state. The Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, has said the proposed strike will be put off if the federal government implements the agreement reached in the next 2 years. Professor Emmanuel Osodeke, president of ASU, stated this in an interview with newsmen. Osodeke said none of the agreements reached with the federal government at the meeting called by the Minister of Education had been implemented. Some of the demands, according to the ASU president, range from the non-implementation of the 2009 renegotiated agreements to the upgrade university standards. Osodeke added that the government was yet to stop the proliferation of the universities, adding that many new universities were being approved without funds to run them. He further pointed out that the government was also yet to exit the university salary payment from Integrated Personnel and Payroll Information System (IPPIS), as approved by the Federal Executive Council in January. It would be recalled that the ASU had threatened to embark on strike over the non-implementation of agreement reached with the federal government over the lingering issues affecting universities. You're still watching Benue Television News at 9. We'll go on a break. When we return, we take a look at stories on the international scene. Glad you know you're still watching Benue Television News, and now let's take a look at stories on the international scene. United States troops have completed a withdrawal from their base in Niger's capital, Niamey, and will fully depart from Agadez in the north before September 15 deadline set by the country's military rulers. Recall that Niger's military leaders scrapped a military cooperation deal with Washington in March after seizing power in July 2023 coup. The United States had around 650 soldiers in Niger as part of anti-jihadist missions in several Sahel nations of West Africa, including a major drone base near Agadez, according to Niger's Chief of Army Staff Mamman Sani and U.S. General Kenneth Ekman. American forces are now going to focus on quitting A Base 201 in Agadez, insisting that the withdrawal would be completed by September 15 as planned. Niger had already ordered the withdrawal of troops from France, the former colonial power and traditional security ally, and has strengthened ties with Russia, which has provided instructors and equipment. Germany's defense ministry also said it would end operations at its A base in Niger by August 31, 2024. Following the breakdown of talks with military leaders, a similar shift has taken place in neighboring Mali and Burkina Faso, which are also ruled by military leaders and faced with violence from jihadist groups. United Kingdom's new Prime Minister Keir Starmer has emphasized the need for a ceasefire and a two-state solution in cause with Israeli and Palestinian leaders. Starmer told Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu of a clear and urgent need for a ceasefire and a return of hostages and an immediate increase in the volume of humanitarian aid reaching civilians. As the opposition leader, Starmer had been accused of not calling for a ceasefire, taking the same line as Conservative Prime Minister Rishi Sunak. He called for a ceasefire in February after intense public pressure months after opposing a ceasefire resolution in the UK Parliament, and he was also accused of denying tickets to some pro-Palestinian members of the Labour Party, including former party chief Jeremy Corbyn, according to a statement by the new British government. The Prime Minister added that it was important to ensure the long-term conditions for the two-state solution were in place, including ensuring the Palestinian Authority had the financial means to operate effectively. Starmer assured Netanyahu that the UK wishes to continue its vital cooperation to deter malign threats with Israel. Starmer also spoke with Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas to restate the same priorities. The new UK Prime Minister said that his long-standing policy on recognition to contributing to a peace process had not changed. He further said that reforms and international legitimacy for Palestine is an undeniable right of Palestinians. Palestine has been recognized as a sovereign country by more than 140 countries, with Ireland, Spain, and Norway becoming the latest European nations to do so in late May. And also Japan and the Philippines have signed a defense pact following the deployment of troops on each other's soil amid shared concerns over China's growing military power. Japanese Minister of Foreign Affairs Yoko Kamikaya and Philippines Secretary of National Defense Galiberto Teodoro signed the reciprocal access agreement on Monday during a ceremony in Manila. Under the agreement, Japanese forces will be able to deploy in the Philippines for joint military exercises, and Filipino forces will be able to carry out combat training in Japan. The pact will need to be ratified by both countries' legislatures to come into effect. The agreement comes as Japan and the Philippines, both long-standing allies of the United States, are wary of China's growing assertiveness in the region. Beijing has laid claim to more than 90% of the South China Sea, including waters that lie within the exclusive economic zones of the Philippines and 4 other Southeast Asian countries. An international tribunal at The Hague in 2016 found that Beijing's claims had no legal basis. China and the Philippines Coast Guard and navies have been involved in numerous confrontations in the disputed waters, including an incident last month during which Chinese Coast Guard personnel wielding knives and spears used motorboats to ram two Philippine Navy supply vessels. Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. has forcefully denounced China's actions in the South China Sea, warning that his country would consider the death of any Filipino at its hands as close to an act of war. And that's about the size of our package this morning. Let's take a look at the top stories quickly before we say goodbye. Governor Hyacinth Alia has charged leaders of associations to unite for development of the state. Court of Appeal has dismissed two appeals instituted by sacked local government's chairman in Rivers State. We also reported that United States troops have completed withdrawal from Niamey in Niger Republic. That's Benue Television News at 9. Many thanks for watching. My name is Japhet Kwahom. Goodbye.